So Spider-Man is one of those characters I know by reputation, but don't know a whole lot of details. I mean, I know the whole dead uncle, great power, great responsibility, web swinging, yada yada, but overall I've never been super into comic books or comic book heroes. With that said, I'd heard good things about the video game tie-in to Spider-Man 2, and thought I'd check it out. And overall, yeah, it's pretty good, and I can see why it garnered attention. Most licensed games of this type tend to be mediocre at best, pure garbage at worst, but Spider-Man 2 is quite a fun game. At least at first. In it you play as, well, Spider-Man, and you're swinging your way around a sandbox map that's a rough recreation of part of New York City. By far the best part of the game is the web swinging controls. It just feels so fluid, and the simple act of traversing the city is just really fun and enthralling. I also like the way they implement the random crimes you can encounter along the way. There's the obvious stuff, like stopping someone from snatching a woman's purse, preventing someone from stealing a car, fighting off thugs who are attacking someone, but it's nice to see other things that don't involve violence, such as saving someone from falling off a building or getting someone to the hospital. Unfortunately, where Spider-Man 2 lets itself down is in some of the more structured elements of the game. For one, the combat mechanics are just bad. They're really clunky and not at all fun, and while Spider-Man does have some tricks up his sleeve, it can be really fiddly to get them to work properly. The story loosely follows the events of the film it was based on, but it also throws in some other side plots featuring characters from the comic books. As I said before, I'm not really into comic books, so I didn't really know who most of these people were, but I imagine someone who's a big fan of Spider-Man would know and would get a kick out of seeing them. But by far the biggest issue with the game is that the story missions are a real pain. They're often badly designed, requiring precise maneuvers with no room for error, and combined with the clunky combat, getting through these missions turns into a massive chore. To the game's credit, it is pretty generous with checkpoints, so you don't lose too much progress if you fail, but given how aggravating the gameplay of these sections is, this doesn't help much, as it just makes the missions annoying rather than infuriating, which still isn't good. So while there were aspects of this game that I really loved, the annoying parts wore on my patience more and more until I couldn't take it anymore. I can say that it is above average for a video game adaptation of a movie, but I would only recommend it to people who are fans of Spider-Man. Still, the game has piqued my interest in Spider-Man, and in superhero sandboxes in general, as I know there are quite a few other games starring Spider-Man. Anyways, that's all I've got. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.